is Williford, and I'm going to be your next sheriff. I've got 35 years of experience in law enforcement in this county in various stages or areas of law enforcement, not in the sheriff's office. I served my first 16 years with 4 elected terms as constable. Then I served a couple of years as police chief in Kansas. And after that, I went to the county attorney's office and went to work for Mr. David Sheffield as his investigator for 7 years. When he got elected district attorney, I went with him to the district attorney's office, and I served there today with him as the chief investigator. This job that we're asking y'all for belongs to you. Doesn't belong to us, doesn't belong to anybody that can bestow it on us or anything like that. This is your job. And we're here to serve. Whoever's successful is going to be here to serve you. And I'm hoping that you will pick me as your choice for the candidate that you want to do that job for you for the next 4 years. That's a minute, Robert? Come on. It goes fast, folks, when you're standing right there.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Williford, your first question. Please describe your management style and give us an example of how you have managed people.
Okay. My management style is I like to know what's going on. I like to empower the folks that work for me with the authority and give them the decision-making ability. But I always want to know that I'm the one that's accountable for the decisions they're making. I'll be a proactive manager with folks. I have managed people literally since I got out of high school. Went to work for a fellow managing a store for him, and immediately I was put in charge of people. I started my first business when I was 23. I have employed people, hired people, literally hired hundreds of employees over these years, building successful businesses and managing those people. I also managed folks when I was at the police department as police chief. That's a little bit different management style. But I've got extensive management experience with people and with money, finances, and budget. Does that say time up? 30 seconds, okay. Lost my train of thought. But management of folks, you have to be able to empower people that work for you to do the things that need done for the public. My business management makes me realize that you, the people, are the customers of what law enforcement does.
Thank you. Your next question. The Supreme Court decision of Brady versus Maryland, which is sometimes called the Brady Law, describes that withholding evidence violates a person's right of due process. How do you incorporate this in your professional ethics?
We deal with that Brady Law quite a lot. I'm a past president and a board member of the Texas District County Attorneys Association Investigators Group, and we design and implement training for all the investigators and DA and county attorneys' offices across the state. We were hearing about the Brady Law and the things that came with the Michael Martin Act, which is relative to the Brady Law, before other folks were, because we were having to plan it for training. That says that the police officer, the state, being the prosecutor's office or the peace officers that are working for the state, cannot withhold anything. Everything has to be turned in. If it's not turned in a timely manner, the case, that evidence not only cannot be used against that person, but you may have grounds for the case not to be even able to be prosecuted. It's very important that all the evidence that happens and is gathered on the street and comes forward is presented and has to be there for the defense to get a copy of it. They're entitled to a copy of everything that happens. It has to be disclosed. It also goes so far as to say that if something comes to my knowledge or a person's knowledge in the chain of the process, we must disclose it immediately if it could be relative to the case. If not, the lawyers that are prosecuting that case could be in jeopardy of losing their bar license. It's extremely important. The state has said you gotta tell the defense everything.
Thank you. Your next question is a two-part question. Have you ever had to make a difficult stand that had personal consequences? And have you ever had any ethics violations that would jeopardize your credibility
second part first. No, I've never had an ethics violation that would compromise me in my job. It never has, never will. A stand that I've had to take. It's hard to come to mind, but I'll tell you a story. I was in, maybe by the end of the story, I'll have the evidence for you on that. I was in church one day many years ago, and I've always been involved in my community of parents. And a lady whose daughter graduated high school with me knew that I was taking a stand on something. And she said, Dale, I really hate for you to take that stand because that could hurt you. And it was Ms. Berger from Kent. Some of you may know Ms. Berger. And I told Ms. Berger, I said, I have achieved more success politically, socially, and financially than I was probably entitled to. So if taking a stand about what I believe in causes me to lose a little bit of that prestige or success or good fortune that I have out there, I'm willing to do that to take a stand for what I believe in.
Thank you. Your next question. What specifically do you believe needs to change about the way the Sheriff's Department operates, including technology? And please just briefly discuss the important relationship between the Sheriff's Office and the DA's office.
That's a 10-minute answer. There needs to be probably some scheduling changes so that we have more people available to provide services to the public when the calls are coming in. There's no doubt that there's more calls for service at a lot of times in the day than there are, let's say, between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning. I think there needs to be some scheduling change. We have a limited staff, and it's going to have to be managed and reorganized a little bit, so we've got the very best to do with that. What was the other part of the question, real quick?
About technology.
Technology. I was in Monday. I was in Austin, San Antonio, rather, at a conference for VA and county attorney investigators. This is our annual school, and I had some responsibilities out there. I saw and was presented with the technology, drone technology that is available to us, that's affordable, that I want to implement at the Sheriff's Office. You can actually do a 3-dimensional photographic image of a crime scene that is usable in court. It's been tested by the court, and it documents everything. You can even get the measurements on there. Also with that, you have infrared technology, an infrared camera with live feed for hunting somebody that's lost, hunting a suspect in the woods, or you can have just regular photographs with this. And it's affordable technology. I believe I'm committed to bringing technology, all that's available, into the Sheriff's Office.
Thank you. Do you plan to add administrative positions, whether it's allowable by the current budget or a future budget? And would you be willing to utilize more civilian employees if allowable by budget in order to keep officers on the street and in the community forward?
No, I'm not intending to add any administrative positions, period. I do think that there's some jobs that can be done by civilians, and you can pay a non-peace officer probably a different salary, different rules of employment, and all those sorts of things could be best utilized by civilian, putting that job in civilian hands when possible. But if it's a law enforcement duty, I think a police officer needs to do it, of course, but it would be beneficial if we could take and free up some budget money by doing some things with civilian instead of the law enforcement officer.
Thank you. Your last question. How would you best address constituent complaints, such as public noise, trash dumping, illegal firework displays, pet hoarding, and pet dumping?
How would I best address that?
Yeah, how would you address the complaints?
Many of those issues that you talked about are not regulated out in the county. Whatever, and those regulations would have to be implemented and promulgated by the Commissioner's Court. Anything that the Commissioner's Court passes as a regulation for enforcement in the county, I'd certainly address that and do it. The other thing is when the citizen has a complaint, you have to listen. And you don't start out with, I can't do anything about it. Sometimes if you listen, that's all the citizen wants to know, is that you cared, you gave a darn, you listened, and you might could prevent that We need to listen and answer your questions. Sometimes we can't give you the answer that we want, but it doesn't matter. We still need to address those issues one-on-one as they come in. I will always be accessible as your sheriff. I've had a listed phone number at my house. Yeah, I still got a home phone. I'm old school. But I've had it since I got my first house when I graduated from high school. I've had the same number, it hadn't changed, and I answer it. If I'm not there, an answering machine answers it. My cell phone, anybody that wants it can have it. I will be an accessible sheriff, and you will be able to communicate with me with any problem you may have. I promise.
Thank you. You'll have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
I'm committed to getting the sheriff's office back to having more contact with the people that we work for. I'm committed to doing the things that are necessary scheduling-wise, to seeing that our response times out in all areas of the county are better. As I'm out campaigning, I see that we have response time issues everywhere. It's not just in the West County. They have issues over there as well. But I'm hearing about it at Massey Lake Road in South Wilmington. So I'm committed to doing the things, and those are going to require management. Those are going to require people management and scheduling concerns. We just can't go to the commissioner's court and say, I got to have more people. That's eventually what you have to do. But first of all, you've got to try to get every dollar out of that budget you can, because that's y'all's money. It's not our money. It's y'all's money that I'll be spending. And I promise you, I'll get you the best dollar's worth of work that you can get for a dollar's worth of pay. My law enforcement experience, I didn't even speak about my 40 years of business experience that I've had very much, but anyhow, that law enforcement experience, my business and management experience, my community involvement, years of being involved in the community, from Little League to Chamber of Commerce to Little Rivers to everything that I could do in my community to make it better. I was blessed. I had a mentor who pushed me out there to get involved with it. But anyhow, those things have prepared me with the skills for me to do the job of Hardin County Sheriff and give you the best bang you get for your dollar that you're paying me, because I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do you a very good job. My life and training, my kids are grown and gone. I devote my time to being the Hardin County Sheriff. I have those things in my life have prepared me to be the next sheriff, and I respectfully ask for your vote, your support, and your prayers.